What's up, 49er fans, and welcome into the Long Beach State men's basketball show here on Spreaker.com's own national sports. My name is Chris Sylvester, your host all season long here in regards to Long Beach State men's hoops. It feels really good to be back after a long and brutal offseason without Long Beach State basketball, but it is back, and it is not better than ever, would I say, after that 12-point victory against Hawaii Pacific of Division II to open up the season this past Saturday. But it's just good to have it back overall, and I think by the time conference comes around, this team's really going to be on the same page. I think you can contribute that to the return of Tyler Lamb when he does towards the end of December. We'll get into all that and more, including tonight's matchup against the number 6 team in the nation, the Arizona Wildcats. Long Beach starts that murderous non-conference schedule tonight with a battle at the McHale Center against the Wildcats of Arizona of the Pac-12. My name is Chris Sylvester, your host, as always, here on the Long Beach State men's basketball show on Spreaker.com's own national sports. It feels good to be back. Like I stated, we had the season end in dismay at Baylor in the first round of the NIT. 46-point loss, one of the worst losses in school history. And we had a show in the summer, kind of just letting you all know of the turmoil that happened surrounding the men's basketball program. Of course, we had the dismissal of 2 starters, Tony Freeland and Keala King, who are now both playing at the NAIA level. And you had Deng Deng, who was also dismissed from the team. He is now playing ball up at Cal State Bakersfield for the Roadrunners. Yikes. Anyways, if you don't know what happened by now, you probably shouldn't be listening to this show, because this show is strictly for Long Beach State men's basketball maniacs and fanatics like myself and like many of us out here in the Southern California area. So once again, it feels really good to be back and really good to be talking and college basketball with you guys here on Spreaker.com's own national sports. Previously, I've been doing the play-by-play for St. John Bosco football, the number 1 high school team in the state of California. You can catch their first-round playoff game against Aguara High School, 7:30 on this same link, Spreaker.com/national sports is where you can find the first game for St. John Bosco in the playoffs. I'll have the play-by-play for you guys on there. Getting back to the subject at hand, it's Long Beach State basketball. It's back. The show's back. And Long Beach basketball, for now, back to its winning ways. A 71-59 victory over Hawaii Pacific on Saturday. Mike Caffey, as we figured, would be the guy as far as non-conference plays go before Tyler Lamb becomes eligible. Caffey finished the game with the stat sheet pretty much full. 27 points, a new career high for the junior point guard. 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, only 3 turnovers. Only committed 1 foul, 3 for 8 from 3, 4 for 5 at the free throw line, which is an encouraging sign because Caffey, unlike many guards, had a very poor free throw percentage last season that really costed Long Beach to further advance themselves in Big West victories down the road in the regular season last year. If you remember, there was a couple of games where it was at the point where Long Beach was up by 6-7 points. They send Caffey to the line. He bricks 2. Other team comes back and makes a 3, gets 2 on the board. I mean, it's a closer game, and it's good to see that Mike Caffey perhaps changing his shot up a little bit in the offseason. And I think a lot of us kind of pointed that out, that he kind of changed his game up a little bit as far as shooting goes. He went 10 for 22 overall. It's going to have to change if Long Beach wants any chance tonight at Arizona, because I have a feeling that Gabe York, the former Orange Lutheran Lancer, who was one of the top high school guards coming out of high school just a year and a half ago, he'll have his hands full with Mike Caffey tonight, but Mike Caffey, other way around, Mike Caffey's going to have his hands full being guarded by Gabe York tonight, so that should be an interesting matchup at the point guard position. nonetheless, 12-point victory over a Division II team that was playing less than 24 hours after they got their behinds handed to them by UC Santa Barbara, our budding rivalry that we have going in the Big West. I don't know if you can really even call it a budding rivalry anymore. I think it's just flat out a rivalry in the Big West, Long Beach State and UC Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara picked to finish one spot ahead of the Long Beach State 49ers, according to the media, but what does the media know, right? I mean, I think a lot of us, including myself, think that Long Beach State has a chance to once again repeat for the fourth consecutive season as Big West regular season champions. I just think that by the time conference play rolls around, this group's going to be gelled together a little bit more. You throw in Tyler Lamb, possibly the best player in the Big West. Yes, I just went there. Possibly the best player in the Big West, Tyler Lamb, when he's fully healthy. I think that gives Long Beach a fantastic shot at getting their fourth consecutive Big West regular season title. As far as Saturday's game went, I mentioned Mike Caffey, 27 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. Other notables for Long Beach State, got to be happy with this. Dan Jennings, supposed to dominate last year after coming from the Big East in West Virginia. Big 6'9" frame, 265. Really slimmed down this offseason. Lost about 25, 30 pounds. Didn't even recognize him out there at first before you saw the 3-5 on the back of his jersey. Dan Jennings, 5 for 9 from the field against the Division II Hawaii Pacific Sea Warriors. 10 points, 17 boards. He was really aggressive, crashing the glass on Saturday for the 49ers, and that's a very encouraging sign because when we lost James Ennis and Tony Freeland, that means we lost a lot of our post-game presence, a lot of our presence in the post, and it's good to see that Dan Jennings, a senior, and Munson mentioned this as well, when talking about Dan kind of realizes that, this is his last shot to get to the next level. If Dan Jennings wants to continue playing basketball past the collegiate level, he's going to have to make a big statement this year, and he made a fantastic statement, I think, for Long Beach State on Saturday. 10 points, 17 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds, 2 steals, a block, only fouled twice, so very good on you, Dan Jennings. You did very well on Saturday for Long Beach State, despite the 0 for 6 mark that he had at the free throw line. Did kind of change up that funky shot that he had all last season from the free throw line. Looks a little bit better, but still the same result. 0 for 6 from the line. We'll see if that changes at all tonight when the Long Beach State 49ers take on the number 6 ranked team in the nation, the Arizona Wildcats. You can catch that game on the Pac-12 network or on the internet, right? On the internet, because I do not have the Pac-12 network. I am a Verizon Fios guy, and frankly, I will most likely have to watch the game on my laptop. Poor me, right? Whether I'm going to watch that game illegally or legally on the laptop, that's to be determined and not to be presented to on the show. Other than the 2 returning starters, Mike Caffey, Dan Jennings, Chris Goley, another returner, had himself quite a rough afternoon. Went 1 for 9 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. None of them really even looked close. 4 rebounds, I guess that's positive. 2 personal fouls, 1 assist, only 3 points on the night for the junior guard, the JUCO transfer, Chris Goley. Kind of rough going. They're going to need him in this non-conference stretch, no doubt about it, if they want to win games. Now, is it realistic to say Long Beach has a shot tonight? Not really, but I think that Long Beach has a great shot at home this upcoming Thursday against an LMU team that they did beat last year. And I think they have a fantastic shot to go into Kansas State and pull out a victory. Why do I say that? Well, Kansas State doesn't look very polished either. They dropped their first affair of the season to the University of Northern Colorado Bears. Have you ever heard of the University of Northern Colorado let alone know that they were the Bears. I didn't. I certainly did not. And I think if you took a poll across the United States, college basketball fans, a lot more fans would know who the Long Beach State 49ers are as compared to the University of Northern Colorado Bears. Not to say that Long Beach is better than the University of Northern Colorado at basketball right now, because they're barely better than a Division II team playing back-to-back in less than 24 hours at home, if you want to take that away from Saturday's game. Personally, I don't. Personally, I think game by game this team's just going to get better. And I think it's kind of brutal to be thrown into the fire right away tonight against Arizona. And then you got the game with Kansas State on Sunday. Not to overlook the LMU game on Thursday, which will probably be a close affair at the Pyramid. But then you get thrown right into the fire in the Puerto Rico tip-off against Michigan, a top 10 team. You win that game somehow. You play the winner of VCU, Florida State. Probably lose that game, so you probably play the loser of VCU, Florida State. It's probably going to be a tough game as well. Not to mention on the road at Washington, at Missouri, USC and Creighton at home, Nevada on the road. It's going to be a brutal stretch. NC State on the road. I mean, like it is every year. You just hope that this team is going to gel eventually, right? Because, I just think that it looks bad on Coach Munson when it's really, by kicking off Keala King, Tony Freeland, and Dang Dang, a lot of people kind of look at that, oh, okay, well, they had bad attitude, so it's going to make Long Beach a better team. False. Doesn't make Long Beach a better team. Probably improves chemistry, and it's probably a lot easier for Coach Munson to go about his coaching duties without those three knuckleheads. But it certainly doesn't make the 49ers better. It's kind of a shame that those three acted inappropriately in a manner to not represent the university well. That's why Munson kicked them off, apparently. And boy, it'd be nice to have the starting lineup of Mike Caffey, Dan Jennings, Keala King, Tony Freeland, and Dang Dang right now, wouldn't it? It'd be nice. I think we'd have a chance going into Arizona tonight with those five. But things didn't work out that way, and I agree with Coach Munson's decision to kick the three off if they were misrepresenting the university, and if they were just a mess to deal with in practice and in the locker room. I get that. By all means, Coach Munson had every right on the planet to dismiss those three young men from the Long Beach State men's basketball program. But a lot of us don't really realize that, maybe the team chemistry is better, and it certainly was. It certainly looked like it was on Saturday. It certainly looks like a lot of guys were right on their assignments. The turnovers weren't too brutal for Long Beach State. They had some good steals and had some buckets in transition against Hawaii Pacific. But the athleticism and the talent level as a group just isn't what it was last season. And I think that's what I'm going to miss about last season. Because, you lose James Ennis. Now he's doing things in Australia for the Perth Wildcats. He's going to end up in the NBA, and I think he'll have a fine NBA career. And not to take anything away from Mike Caffey's tremendous one-hand slam on Saturday against Hawaii Pacific. But, other than Caffey, somebody else has got to step up. Like I said, I love Dan Jennings' effort on the boards. David Samuels had 11 and 8. I think he's going to be a very solid T.J. Robinson-esque basketball player for Long Beach State down in the post. Not too tall, but the rebounds seem to find his hands. And I really like David Samuels, and David Samuels would have been here regardless of the dismissals, according to Coach Munson, because he said that Eric Brown and the recruiting staff have been recruiting him for over a year. And good on you, Long Beach State. You got a fantastic junior forward for the next couple of seasons. I like A.J. Spencer, the guard out of Hutch Community College in Kansas. 2 for 5 from the field, 4 points. He's 6'2", 6'3", but he's a big 6'2", 6'3". Came down with 5 rebounds, aggressive in the paint. Didn't attempt a single shot from beyond the three-point mark. But he may very well be Long Beach State's best three-point shooter. He shot at over 40%, playing JUCO ball last season from beyond the three-point mark. Frankly, nothing against Mikhail LaSalle because he had a decent showing, despite fouling out. Hit a couple of threes for Long Beach State. 2 for 6 from beyond the arc for LaSalle, the transfer from Saddleback Community College. A lot of new JUCO guys, if you didn't know. But I really like A.J. Spencer. I like his athleticism. He's quick. He can get into the paint. He can penetrate the defense. And he can flat out get buckets from beyond the three-point arc. Plain and simple. And I think by the time conference play starts, you're going to see A.J. Spencer in the starting lineup. Nothing against Mikhail LaSalle. It was his first game. Can't judge a book by its cover. Can't judge this team by its first game. The cover of the book was the Hawaii Pacific Sea Warriors. Page 1 is tonight against the ever so dangerous, the number 6 team in the nation, the Arizona Wildcats, who blew out Long Beach last year, if we all remember. I believe they put up over 90 points against the 49ers in Tucson last season. Second straight year, Long Beach is going to have to wait to get better because of Tyler Lamb transferring. I'm willing to wait. I think it's a lot easier this year for Long Beach State because last year you had a situation where you had to institute 2 guys into the starting rotation in Tony Freeland and Keala King. Edgar Garibay never really got into the rotation. He got put in here and there, 2-3 minutes a game if he even got in. Here you have Tyler Lamb, who if you ask him what he wants to do with his season, he wants to be the Big West Player of the Year. And I like that attitude. I love that attitude. I think Tyler Lamb is really going to step up as a leader on this team. He sees this as a second opportunity, his final opportunity to impress scouts at the next level, to get himself to the next level. Something that Keala King and Tony Freeland did not take advantage of. Maybe it didn't hit them that this was their last shot at a Division I school. But I think it's almost positive in the aspect that Tyler Lamb saw what happened with his good buddy Keala King and Tony Freeland. And hopefully he doesn't make the same mistake. And from what I've heard from practices and scrimmages, Tyler Lamb, great guy, great teammate, is emerging as a leader on this squad. It's unfortunate that he's not going to get to showcase his talents tonight against Arizona or against Kansas State, NC State, in the Puerto Rico tip-off, Creighton, list goes on. But if everything goes as planned, he'll make his debut against USC at home, which for Southern California fans, Long Beach fans, it's a big game for us because As a Long Beach State fan, you don't get the publicity, anything near the publicity that USC and UCLA gets. And if Long Beach can somehow knock off USC at home, which is very doable, and I think we'll be feeling pretty good about ourselves when we talk smack with those many Trojan fans that like to reside in Southern California. But that's a long, long road ahead. It's in a long time from now. Overall, my assessment on Saturday, you saw a Long Beach team go up 22-6 at one point, and I thought, okay, all right, Coach Munson, I see what you're doing here. All right, here comes the blowout. Nice 30, 40-point victory against the D2 school. Hey, way to make a statement. First game of the season. Yeah, it didn't happen. After that Mike Caffey dunk and listening to what Coach Munson said in the post-game press conference, I kind of agree with him after what he said about the Mike Caffey dunk. The Mike Caffey dunk put Long Beach State up big, and that's kind of when Long Beach started to just coast along to the finish, just get by against the Division II Hawaii Pacific Sea Warriors. It almost had somewhat of a negative effect because then after that, you know, the big crowd, the filled student section, which was fantastic, great crowd on hand for a Division II team on Saturday, even though it was homecoming. Still a great crowd. Still got to applaud the Long Beach crowd for showing out at the Pyramid this past Saturday against Hawaii Pacific. But it almost had a negative effect, did the Caffey dunk, just because of the fact that everybody else from that point on tried to kind of do something to energize the crowd, whether that was a Showtime dunk. I think we saw it on the alley-oop when Caffey threw it to Nick Shepard. I don't know if it was really meant to be an alley-oop, but Nick Shepard, who I was kind of impressed with on Saturday, not going to lie. He had a very nice a hook attempt that went for 2 points early in the game and got himself 4 rebounds. He's going to be key. Still a junior, very athletic. I think hasn't really lived up to his potential yet. So hopefully Nick Shepard, for his sake and just for the team's sake, has a fantastic season this season. But going back to that, I think he had a scenario which Coach Munson didn't like very much and kind of chewed out Shepard in the ensuing timeout after he tried to dunk a ball that was passed about 3 feet behind him. I think Long Beach kind of fell into that trap, was having a little bit too much fun with Hawaii Pacific, and then it kind of caught up to them to the point where it was kind of a grind until the clock hit 0-0 at the end of the ball game. Last year Long Beach State beat North Alabama by 10 points. First game of the season, ended up winning their 3rd straight conference championship in a row. Am I taking much away from this game? No, but I'll take away what I need to take away from tonight's game at Arizona. Does this team have any quit in them? And I think that's going to be tested tonight because I personally just don't think Long Beach is going to get it done tonight. Second game as a team, really, on the big stage, sold-out crowd, 15,000 plus on hand tonight in Tucson. I mean, I just want to see where these kids' hearts are at as far as this squad goes. I mean, is this team, if they get down by 10 early, I mean, is this team going to quit or is this team going to keep fighting until the buzzer sounds and it's time to go home and it's the game's over? Is this team going to quit? That's my big question mark. We didn't get to see that. I don't think they quit against Hawaii Pacific. I think they just kind of had too much fun, and then, like I said, it was just a grind till the end. They kind of a little bit lackluster the last 7 or 8 minutes of the first half, and that kind of carried over negatively into the second half. I won't take too much away from it. And I'm sure it's something you go back on film and you look at and realize what you did that was wrong during that 7-8 minute stretch to end the first half. But that's over with. And tonight is the matchup against the number 6 team in the nation, the Arizona Wildcats. We're going to preview that game and wrap it up when we get back here on Spreaker.com's own national sports. You're listening to the Long Beach State Men's Basketball Show. Stay with us.
Get on what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up. First shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between.
Who is the team to beat in the National Football League as we begin preseason action? NFL insider Robert Dieters is up next on National Sports. The story of the 2013 Major League season has been the resurgence of the Dodgers, led by Yasiel Puig. How realistic of a shot does Los Angeles have at making the World Series? Jason Gerline leads the roundup next on National Sports. Your presentation of National Sports is brought to you by Spreaker.com. Broadcast and listen to news, radio, and music with one low monthly rate. Your show will be right back after this word from your local stations. You can contact National Sports in a number of ways, through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter with the label National Sports. We love to have you guys a part of our show and can easily join us also through text or call. You're listening to the National Sports radio station on Spreaker.com.
Century, doing something mean.
Welcome back, folks, into the Long Beach State Men's Basketball Show here on Spreaker.com. My name is Chris Sylvester, your host, as I will be all season long here on the Long Beach State Men's Basketball Show. Tonight, the Niners are in action at number 6 Arizona, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on the Pac-12 network. Not too many of us have the Pac-12 network, including myself, but we'll find a way to either listen to the great voice of Rob Brender or watch the game somehow via smart device or laptop or whatever we use these days to live stream college basketball games. Real quickly, before we get into an in-depth preview of the Niners game tonight at Arizona, we have a question from Robert Dieters from San Mateo, California, here on the comment board. He asks me, do I think Long Beach State is a legit contender this year in the Big West? And I think it's a little bit early to give a definite answer to that question, but I certainly think that Long Beach has as good of a shot as anybody does at a Big West crown for the 4th consecutive season. I think that it's really wide open. I think UC Irvine, I think they're probably the most balanced team as far as depth goes, and they have the most size in the conference. But I think you're also going to see a very good Cal Poly team emerge once again this season. Hawaii is always going to be tough. It's going to be interesting to see if they can play better on the road this year. That was what really held them back from making a run at all last season. UC Santa Barbara, a very young team with a lot of depth. Al Williams, probably the best big in the conference. UC Davis, they're starting to do new things with their head coach, Jim Less, up there. Corey Hawkins last year led the conference in scoring. He's back once again for his junior season this season. And you look at other teams like Northridge, Fullerton, and UC Riverside, probably not going to contend for a Big West title just yet. But how about Cal State Northridge? They bring in Reggie Theus as their head coach, and they get a nice transfer by the name of Amir Garnett from St. John's University. They also bring in a couple of 3-star recruits as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Cal State Northridge fares when conference play starts. But if I had to make a prediction right now, I'd probably pick the University of California, Irvine, UCI, or UC-me, as a lot of us 49er fans like to call them, to win the conference. And then I picked Long Beach, Poly, and Santa Barbara in no particular order to finish 2, 3, 4. We'll see how Long Beach progresses. We'll see how good Tyler Lamb's going to make this team. If Tyler Lamb's even going to make this team that much better. I expect him to, but let's see if he's really fully healthy. Let's not forget he's less than a year removed from knee surgery. It'll be his first year playing with the new squad, being the guy for Long Beach State. So it'll be interesting to see if Tyler Lamb is going to step in here and be that big-time player that we all expect him to. But we'll still have a lot of things to find out before conference play starts, a lot of identities to unveil before conference play starts as well. Thank you, Robert Dieters from San Mateo, for the question. Tonight, Long Beach State and Arizona, 7 p.m. at the McHale Center. You know, in years past, I'd say it should be a good one. I can't really say it should be a good one tonight because there are just so many unknowns among Long Beach State. But if one thing is for certain, if you want to look at commons, Cal Poly played Arizona, only lost by 11 this past Friday, 73-62. But you see the reason why the Mustangs were able to stay in the game. They had the same amount of turnovers as Arizona. I don't know if Long Beach is going to be that great controlling the basketball against such a tenacious defense tonight that the Wildcats pose. I think size is going to be a big issue for Long Beach State tonight. Arizona returns a lot of good players, most notably Brandon Ashley, the 6'8", 230 forward. Aaron Gordon, one of the top commits from the high school class this past season, is now playing ball for Arizona. Had a double-double in his collegiate debut against Cal Poly. Got 13 and 10 for the Wildcats. Gabe York is in his second year, now starting at guard for the Wildcats. He's a Southern California kid. He's probably going to want to go hard tonight against Long Beach State. And let's not forget Tarzowski for Arizona, the 7-foot sophomore from Claremont, New Hampshire, might have a field day tonight like he did last year against the 49ers. All up to Dan Jennings. I mean, if Dan Jennings got to control the bigs down low, and Long Beach State, if there's anything you have a knock against them, it's definitely size and athleticism for post players. That's the price you paid with kicking off Tony Freeland and getting rid of Kyle Richardson as well, who's now playing up at Portland State. It's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough. I don't know if it's going to be the guards that are going to light Long Beach up like they did last year from beyond the arc. Arizona, of course, a very good three-point team. They only made 5 3-pointers, though, against Cal Poly. Cal Poly, I'd say a squad that's a lot further along than Long Beach State is at the moment. We'll see how that all shakes up between Cal Poly and Long Beach and the rest of the Big West teams, like I said, come conference play at the beginning of January. But I mean, it's just going to be – size is going to be a problem for Long Beach State tonight, and there's no way getting around that. I mean, maybe Coach Munson will try something a little bit different with the starters. Maybe he'll start Griggs Williams or Nick Shepard down low to kind of help Dan Jennings with the load that he's going to be facing in Aaron Gordon and Brandon Ashley and of 27 against the Division II squad. Much tougher environment. Going to see a better defense. Going to see better athletes tonight against Arizona. So if Long Beach State can make a plethora of threes and at least contend somewhat on the boards with Arizona and not get into foul trouble, you might see somewhat of a close game through one half. But Vegas puts it best. It's a 20.5 point favorite are the Arizona Wildcats, rightfully so. I mean, they are the 6th ranked team in the nation, and you saw what they did to Long Beach State last season, and I'm sure the fact that Long Beach State just edged out a win against a Division II team less than 48 hours ago doesn't exactly help as well. So, do we have a competitive game tonight? Certainly, I hope so. Certainly, win or lose, I want to come away from this game with a smile on my face, really amped up for the game on Thursday against LMU. I don't want to be like, at the end of the game, I don't want to find myself just kind of looking up and saying, oh, why am I in love with the mid-major basketball team? Why can't I just be a fan of the UCLA Bruins or the Kentucky Wildcats? Why can't I be a Duke Blue Devil fan? Why can't I be a Kansas Jayhawk fan? Who put this curse on me that I have to be a Long Beach State 49er fan? I don't want to be saying that come the game's end. So I really just hope Long Beach gives us a good effort tonight. Most importantly, on the boards, don't get into foul trouble, and don't turn over the basketball. Mike Caffey has to dominate. Dan Jennings has to be a beast once again on the boards. Three-point shooting's got to come from somewhere, whether that's Michaela Sal, Chris Gully, whether that's even David Samuels stepping out from time to time to shoot a three-pointer, A.J. Spencer, like I mentioned, or Brantford Jones. Maybe he can make a bigger impact than he did on Saturday. He did put 7 points up, but really wasn't as impressive as he was in his first game last year against the Northern Alabama Lions of Division II. So it'll be very interesting to see what kind of effort Long Beach puts out there, because despite seeing them play one game and despite possibly seeing them in a couple of scrimmages, this team still has a plethora of question marks, and it's going to be very interesting to see, will Long Beach be able to take the hits tonight, because Arizona's certainly going to lay multiple hits tonight on the Long Beach State 49ers, but will they be able to take them and stay in the game and not show any signs of quit? It's going to be tough, but hopefully Long Beach can pull through and leave us smiling when the game is all said and done. Join me Wednesday for another edition of the Long Beach State Men's Basketball Show, as we will have a special guest, an LMU insider. You can follow him on Twitter at Adam Morrison Crying. He has his own blog. He's a big LMU guy. Happy that I got to know him over the course of last college basketball season, where he's going to be on the show, and we're going to be previewing Long Beach State and LMU. LMU, let's not forget, brings back a fantastic guard in Anthony Ireland, who's given the Long Beach State 49ers a whole heap of troubles, a whole world of troubles. The two times that they played, once at the Pyramid 3 years ago, and of course Long Beach State went into LMU and beat the Lions 73-70 last season. So it should be another good matchup, almost the rubber match, if you want to call it that, against the LMU Lions at the Pyramid on Thursday at 7:05 p.m. I'll be there. Leave a comment. Long Beach State Men's Basketball Show right here on Spreaker.com's own national sports. Let me know what you think. My name is Chris Sylvester, signing off, and best of luck to Long Beach State tonight against the number 6 ranked team in the nation, the Arizona Wildcats. Wednesday, we're going to have another show for you previewing the LMU game and looking back at what hopefully is the upset of the year against the Arizona Wildcats. Go Beach.